28-year-old Whitney Ard is charged with negligent homicide in her son's death. She was arrested in May after a drug bust at her home. The child overdosed twice before, in April and in July. Both times he was saved with Narcan. Ard was reported to the State Department of Child and Family Services 3 times before Mitchell's death. The 2-year-old was found unresponsive in his mother's bed in June. Paramedics tried using Narcan again, but were unsuccessful. He was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at a hospital, and a hearing to revoke Ard's bond is set for tomorrow. Public Department of Children and Family Services was notified at least 3 times of the child's dangerous living conditions. But these state's inaction resulted in the child's death. Here is Chris Nakamoto.
Michael, Sylvia, the Department of Children and Family Services refused to do an interview today, but acknowledged it's under investigation by the State Office of Inspector General amid mounting problems at the agency, which is supposed to help keep kids safe.
Deputies investigating the family's home said they found the corner of a clear plastic bag containing white powdery residue beneath the bed near the bowl of cereal on the floor. Deputies also noted there had been 2 other instances in April and June where the mother brought her unresponsive son to a hospital, adding that both incidents were reported to the Department of Children and Family Services prior to the child's death. On April 12th, healthcare workers noted the child was suffering from respiratory failure and seizure-like symptoms, though his brain activity was not consistent with a seizure and no seizure medications were needed, according to the report. The toddler was ultimately released back to his mother after being treated with Narcan. Do you guys know what Narcan is, right? It can be given as an injection or as a mist through the nostrils, and it reverses the effects of opiates, of drugs. And it has saved many, many lives all over the world. So, the woman once again brought her child to the emergency room on June 4th after she noticed he was having trouble breathing, similar to the event in April. The unresponsive toddler was again treated with Narcan and discharged from the hospital 2 days later. East Baton Rouge coroner Bo Clark called it a significant failure and said a 3rd report was sent to DCFS after the toxicology reports from one of the hospital visits showed fentanyl in the boy's system. That report was made by a physician who treated the child. Her documentation was perfectly laid out in a timeline and appropriate manner of her clinical suspicion, the things she did, and the people she talked to, Clark said. The WBRNZ investigative unit learned the Department of Children and Family Services did not remove the child from the care of the mother after the 2 hospital visits where the child had to be resuscitated with Narcan, or after the mother's arrest following an East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's investigation into her house being used as a drug den. Ard's bond was set at $50,000 for the negligent homicide charge, but a judge put a hold on the bond Wednesday. Ard will not be able to post bond until the judge lifts the hold. District Attorney Hiller Moore said his office plans to file a motion Thursday to revoke Ard's bond for the May drug arrest due to the recent homicide arrest. WBRZ learned late Tuesday the State Inspector General was investigating how DCFS reacted to multiple incidents involving the child's overdoses and the mother's arrest. DCFS Secretary Marquetta Garner Walters released the following statement Wednesday morning, but declined to do an on-camera interview. Her statement: "When we learned of the tragedy involving this child, we immediately began a comprehensive review of this case and all circumstances surrounding it. The department has already taken numerous steps to make changes that range from policy changes to personnel actions. The review is ongoing." We are also working with the Office of Inspector General to review every step of this case and will not be able to comment further. So, this 28-year-old mother, I'm using the word mother very loosely because she was not behaving as a mother, in my opinion. Her child overdosed. And I know little children get into things, but she shouldn't have had drugs in her house. That is number one. The article states that her house was being used as a drug den. So I looked that up, and a drug den is usually the person who holds drugs and is being paid to hold the drugs, but they are not selling the drugs. They're just like a safe, a place where, you can go and lock your drugs up. I mean, that is crazy. Anyway, she was using her home as a drug den. They were paying her, the dealers were paying her, or the dealer was paying her to hold his drugs. And that is how her child got into those drugs 3 different times. And on the 3rd time, he died. So yeah, she should be charged because it is literally her fault that this happened. She allowed drugs to be kept in her home. She put her child on the floor to eat a bowl of cereal. Why not at the table, dumbass? She put him on the floor next to the bed, and under the bed was a bag of fentanyl. I mean, how stupid. Did she intend for this to happen? How can your child have a drug overdose, a 2-year-old, 3 different times, and you don't change your habits? Even if you're a damn drug dealer, you don't change your habits, to make sure that your child doesn't die? I mean, was she high all these times too? Was she on fentanyl? Because she could not have been in her right mind for her child to OD 3 times. I mean, this just pisses me off, you guys. We need to protect the children. And CPS needs a huge overhaul. I did a story earlier this year about a mother who had been given custody of her child, and she had clear issues, mental issues, and she was violent, and she shot her child. I don't remember if it was 6 or 9 times. And his little brain, he was barely recognizable. He had so many holes in his body. And the police let her walk, or they brought her back to her apartment, okay? And that was before they checked the car out. The child was in the back seat, in the trunk, dead. There was blood all over the back seat, and she told them she had been to the butcher's, and the blood on her face was from her cycle. You guys go back and look at that video. So it's not just here in Louisiana, it's all over the country. And I just don't know. Nobody's protecting little children. What in the hell? All right, you guys, I'm going to see you in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. It is so heartbreaking, literally. I did not know that child, but it just hurts so bad to think that his little life was taken from him. All right, you guys, let's talk about it in the comments. See you there.